you for the situation you guys are in going into this game? How do you feel?
I don't feel desperate. It's another championship opportunity for us. We're going to go out there, and it's another division opponent, so we're very familiar with one another, and it'll be a fun game.
Do you remember the last time you felt desperate?
When I had negative $38 in my account and I needed a ride home. It's like, I was college. But don't pay the players.
What year of college was that?
That was senior year, actually. That was senior year. Good old days.
With you guys having lost a few games, people talk about, have the Super Bowl hangover and things like that come up to you guys. Do you think anything that's happened this year is a result of that kind of stuff, or is it just like individual things that have happened?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of injuries have happened, and I don't know if that has anything to do with Super Bowl hangover or football being a very violent sport. I think, God, we just, like I said before, sometimes you don't get the bounces, sometimes you do. We've been in a lot of close games, and ball hasn't bounced our way. It happens, guys. It's not from a lack of guys playing hard. A lack of guys executing. I mean, guys are playing hard and executing, and sometimes you get the bounces, sometimes you don't.
Tackling seems like this really obvious thing, but defenses can lose it for a while and try and get it back. When, hypothetically, if your team was having tackling issues, how would you go about reversing it?
I don't know. That's a tough one because every individual tackle is different for every individual guy. So you can drill it up, you can work on it as much as you can, but until you get in those individual moments, a lot of the time you spend tackling aren't in positions that you work on. You're not always working on the guy in the open field as quick as these guys are, or strong as these guys are. So I mean, every opportunity is different. So some teams will tackle a guy better than they'll tackle others. It's not. I don't think it has anything to do with anything working on it. I think some guys just have trouble with it sometimes.
Is it a case of guys trying to do too much out of their assigned area usually, or
not really? I mean, you could have the flats and they throw it to Jamal Charles in the flats, and you're right in front of him, right in the area you're supposed to be, and you grab him and he slips away. That has nothing to do with positioning or execution. It's just one man's will versus another man's. It's sometimes they're tough to bring down.
How different is this team without Carson Palmer?
They're a little bit different, but they still take the shots. I think they trust Carson to run the offense, and they give him a little bit more, the playbook. But I don't think they're afraid to take shots with the young kid. He's doing a great job. Last game they threw 5-6 shots, and he bombed Detroit a couple times. So they're obviously still using their offense to take shots, and they're using them to do that.
How different is that from last week? Alex had like 108 passing yards, only one completion more than 20 yards. How different?
It's a lot different. I mean, Alex likes to, like I said, he's conservative. He likes to be efficient with football. He doesn't take a lot of shots. This guy, I think they took 6 in the first 30 plays last week, and so they like to get him down the field. They like to throw the ball with him.
Do you think Arizona has the second best secondary in the league?
Who are you calling the first? Depends on it. I don't know. We don't really watch other teams and compare like that, but they have some great guys and they're playing some great defense right now. They're winning. They're 9-1. So anytime you're winning, you're feeling good about how you're playing.
Anytime you've got a young quarterback, it takes the league a couple of weeks to get used to him and him the league. At what point on tape do you start to see enough of those tendencies and his true colors start coming out?
I think it's always different for different guys, but teams usually go by a 4 or 5 game breakdown, and I think he started 4 games now, so I'm sure they have enough tape to diagnose how the team likes to use him and what they think are his strengths and what they don't like to do with him.
What stands out to you about last December's loss to Arizona at home?
That was just a gritty game. It was a back and forth game. I don't remember anything, exceptional being different than any other division game. That's a grinded out, low scoring, usually coming down to the last couple of drives. They played some good football at the end. We were able to take the ball off them a couple of times. They were able to get the ball. It's a division game. It's going to be a grinded out.
How did you and Larry Fitzgerald become friends?
Just playing against a guy, you compete against him, and then I saw him in Arizona at one point, and we talked about his event and things that he liked to do, and found out he does a lot of charitable work, and he was actually in connection with a few charities, and I thought it'd be a good idea to. He thought it'd be a good idea if I attended his charity event, and it was a great deal. So we been friends ever since.
Couple rookie receivers. How would you compare or contrast Odell Beckham and John Brown?
I think they're 2 different kinds of receivers. Both of them have big, strong hands. They've caught the ball well. They're both great route runners. I think Odell Beckham is used a little bit more on the outside now because they have to. They use them both in the slot and the outside, and John Brown has been primarily an inside threat.
Talk about all the injuries you guys have faced. How disruptive has that been looking back?
I wouldn't call it disruptive. It's just different. You have to every week. You have to know, continuity helps in this league, and when you're unable to have continuity for a while, it kind of jumbles you, how you're able to play, especially I would say KJ is a perfect example. KJ goes from Will, to Mike, and then, he has to stay at Mike, and then he goes back to Will. That's not a lot of continuity. Bang goes down, so Kevin Williams has to play a bigger role. In the secondary, we've had, Cam went down a few games. It's just when those things happen, you just have to make up for it, and guys have to come in and play. And, it's been a big-time opportunity for some guys to play and to get some experience, but it's tough in terms of continuity.
What would it mean to get Bobby back?
It'll mean a lot. Obviously it'll mean KJ gets to go back to Will and, his natural spot. And Bobby's a big-time player for us. He makes a lot of great plays. He makes a lot of difficult tackles in space. And I think, it's always great to get one of your starters back.
When you look at the schedule and see that you close with 5 division games in your last 6.
I don't think anything different. I always thought it was that way. I never really looked that closely to the schedule, but I always thought we ended with the division. It's fun. It's going to be fun football. Teams that teams you're familiar with. And at the end of the day, it'll have an impact on who goes to the playoffs and stuff. This is the stuff you play for. That's why you love the game.
Knowing what you know as a defensive back, how do you think you'd be as a receiver in this league?
I'd be pretty good. I'd be pretty good. Shoot, you can hardly touch them, Shoot, if you can hardly touch me, I'll have a nice day.
Did you never flags like a lot of these guys?
You know what? Like a lot of these guys, I don't know if you have to anymore. I don't know if you have to. I mean, I think back in the day, you know, when they had Dion and guys were really jamming guys and doing some wild stuff, then I might flop a little bit. But now you don't even have to flop. They're going to call it. If they touch you past 5 yards, it's a penalty. So, shoot, it's fine. It's supposed to be.
But Pete's never asked you to do it, though.
You know what? I'm not going to talk about that. No comment.
You guys, you're not going to be on the field together, but when you're playing a guy like Patrick Peterson that gets as much pub as he does, is there any of that my dog's bigger than your dog stuff going on?
I don't even have a dog right now. No, not really. Not really. You know, we play, obviously, as you said, we won't ever see each other on the same field, so it's not something I worry about. You know, I leave that to our receivers. We're going against a great set of receivers and Fitz and Floyd and now Brown's, you know, having a great year. So, you know, that's where you get your competition. That's where you know you're going to get a challenge, and it's always exciting going against great guys.
What if you played receiver and you covered? How would that matchup go?
I don't know. You know, like I said, in this league, it's different. I have a chance. He's fast. I don't know. I'd have to come up with something in my handy dandy notebook.
Speaking of Patrick Peterson, you've been pretty quiet on Twitter, not getting into things with other guys like you have in the past. Is that a conscious effort, or have you just been kind of taking a break?
Oh, nobody said anything to respond to. You know, I don't set a schedule and say, I'm going to get into a Twitter altercation today. Let's see. I don't say on September 27th, you know, it's the day we're going to have an altercation. You know, I've just been living life.
Do you think your no comment on the Pete View having a conversation about wide receiver will spur a whole nother set of rumors?
You know, I'm hoping it does, and I'm hoping it comes from an anonymous source.